Hey y'all, JS Creations, our Sanity here. So I've been asked how I mix my micas into my resin. So first off, let me just say that this is the way I do it. Not saying that this is the only way. This is the way I do it. It works for me. Okay, so I've got my cup here. I use all different kinds of cups. Most of them are dirty. They need to be cleaned out. But, so, here they are. So I've got these plastic cups here. I've got the silicone cups. Measuring cups. Plastic cups. I clean them all out. I peel out my cured resin out of here. And then I wash them. So I reuse my stuff. So, okay. I'm going to use the Woodcrafters resin for this. Now, I'm only using this because it's what I have and I'm trying to use it up. This is from the Epoxy Resin Store. If you're going to get some from there, I would recommend just the general use resin. Okay, so this is a 1-to-1, which means you need 1 part resin to 1 part hardener. Now, this is the same. I mean, if you should always read your direction. It doesn't matter what resin you're using. Always read your directions. Doesn't matter if it's 1-to-1, a 2-to-1. So if it's 2-to-1, that means you're going to need 2 parts resin to 1 part hardener. Just read your directions and follow those for whatever resin you are using. Also, wear your protective gloves, respirator. I mean, this is a chemical, so take the precautions necessary to keep yourself safe. So, like I said, my resin is a 1-to-1, so I'm going to mix equal parts resin to hardener. And I'm just using, on this cup here, I've got a little measuring thing here. That's what I'm going by. And I've got the resin, which is part A. It really doesn't matter which one you put in first, part A, part B. This is just the first one I grabbed. Your resin, most are going to be thicker than your hardener, unless you're using like a casting resin. Just as long as it's equal parts, you should be fine. Okay, so I have got and I'm wiping off my bottle here. Now these bottles here, when I buy resin, I buy it in gallon, by the gallon. So I put it in these bottles here. It's just easier to pour out. Okay, so I just poured, about 10 ounces here. So I need to do 10 ounces of my part B, my hardener. Okay, now to mix your resin, most you're going to mix on 3 to 5 minutes. I've got a little timer here. I usually do about 4 minutes. You don't necessarily, I mean, you don't have to set a timer. What you're looking for, you want your resin completely mixed in. And you'll be able to tell. So, I don't know if you could see this now, but see that cloudy? It's clearly not mixed. You want it to be clear, no streaks. So when it gets to that point, you know that you're pretty well all mixed together. Make sure that you're scraping the sides. You're scraping the bottom as you go. I just got glitter in there and I don't want that. Okay, so scraping the sides and the bottom as you go. So I'm going to fast forward this part. Now, the faster you stir, you're going to create more bubbles in there. What I usually do, and you could, I got more glitter in there. What you could do to help do that or prevent the bubbles, one, well, stir slowly. You could also heat up your part A, like in a warm water bath. Now, be careful with that because, you know, resin and water do not mix. But what I have been doing is I will get my resin all mixed up and then leave it set while I get my project and stuff together. So leaving it set, it starts curing up, starts heating up, and it will degas some of those bubbles. Okay, so I've got it all mixed up. Hopefully you guys can see that. Now, yeah, there's quite a few bubbles in there, but it's clear. There's no streaks in there. It's not hazy. Okay, so now I'm going to put some mica in here. Now, this is what I'm going to use. It's a pretty, like, wine color. What I do, I really don't measure anything. I eyeball. Seems to work pretty good so far for me. You just, rule of thumb is you really don't. Ooh, look how pretty that is. Huh. You, oh, why'd I do that? You don't want more than 10% of product to your resin. So I have these like little scoops here. They come in like a pack of 10, I think it was, from Mr. Nola's Glitter. I will have everything that I've used linked down below. But so I'll just scoop some out. Now, I've got a lot of resin here. So, I mean, I'm going to use quite a bit of mica here. And again, like I said, I eyeball it. I'll put a little bit in. I'll stir it up. And decide if I want to add some more or not. That's how I do things. That's such a pretty color. Make sure you're scraping your sides too. Get all that powder mixed up in there. I'm going to put in just a touch more. If you put more product in than what you have of resin, like if you put more than that 10%, and it's different for all resins really. So you've just got to play with what you've got and determine what works for you. But if you do have too much product in your resin, it will affect its curing time, or it won't cure at all, or it'll go too fast. It'll heat up too fast, cure too fast. So really just read your directions. You've really just got to, because everybody uses different resin, different products. What works, one product could work with one resin really good, but not work very good with another one. So you really just got to play with what you've got and see what works for you. I mean, that's what I've done. And also environment, you know, will affect your resin too. So I guess my biggest tip that I found, I mean, just play with what you have. See what works for you. And I figure it out. That's kind of what I've done. So this is all looking good to me. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with all this resin now. So for this one here, I'm going to say goodbye as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave me a comment. And until next time.